Welcome to Screen Talk, the podcast about movies, TVs, and anything else that can be on your screen. I'm your host, Sam, along with my co-host, Blue. Blue, how we doing today?
Are we going to fight today, Sam?
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, good. Okay, well, and then I'm feeling great and fired up and ready to go.
Yes, we are absolutely going to fight today, Blue. I'm
Sam, these are supposed to be our comfort movies. Why are we fighting?
I did not feel comforted.
What? It's good. It's good.
We'll get there. Today we are going to be talking about our favorite comfort movies that we kind of just watch anytime we're feeling sad or I was going to say blue, but yeah, we're always a little blue.
For the audio listeners, we both have blue hair.
And if you did not know this, Blue's name is Blue.
Surprising, I know. Everyone seems shocked.
Yeah, it's a little out there, out of the box.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Before that, though, how have you been, Blue? It's been a minute since we've done one of these. Your fault, not mine.
Okay.
Mine is the fact that I fucked up one of the recording schedules.
It happens. It happens. I'm really excited to be back into it. I really did miss this specifically. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that we picked something like this to get back into it. I thought it was a fun excuse to watch some of these movies. And just in general, I'm excited to be back to it and kind of get this back more in the routine and the schedule because I love it. I love talking about movies with my bestie.
I love it as well. As well. We've been having a lot of interesting conversations lately.
Right.
Well, maybe we'll do a life update on another episode. I don't know what we want to divulge on this show.
Well, minutes before I said I need someone to suck my strap and look me in the eyes. So that's what we're talking about before we go live. Just if you wanted a little behind the scenes.
To be clear, not saying this to me.
No, I got me a little twink.
You've got your own little partner, just fine.
And you recently got booed up too.
Yes, I did. So for the listeners, hands off. I know you've been in my DMs trying to grab my dick. No, I'm just joking. But yes, I now have a lovely girlfriend. Hi, Liz.
I'm so excited. I want to meet her soon.
It's gonna be. It'll happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I figure we're doing comfort movies, but before we dive into our each of our selections, I figure what do you have just generals things you look for in these movies? Do you have maybe even examples of some others that we're not going to go into, but just quick little touches on them? What do you look what comforts you in a movie?
So it depends. I really don't think I have a long list of what I would describe as a comfort movie. Because I like to watch new things. I don't often go back to stuff I previously watched just because my schedule, I don't really have a ton of time to do things like that. So I usually try to prioritize new stories or new movies or something coming out that I want to keep up with. So in general, the term of a comfort movie, this is My First Mister is one that I absolutely love. I've owned for years. I bought it actually back in the day at Family Video when they were selling DVDs.
Yeah.
No, even before that. So it's it's been a long time this movie's been in my life. And it's definitely something that always stuck with me. And we'll get more into that as we go on. But even that movie, I don't necessarily watch on I watch every week, month, year, even sometimes, because I do like to go into new stories. I find comfort in movies as an escapism, but not always an individual movie. But if there was a few movies, this would be on my list. I do think Twilight would be on my list. I think Transformers 1 would be on my list. I do think the entirety of Star Wars would be on my list. There are things that I love and that I go back to, especially if it's something deep and lore rich like Star Wars. Or Lord of the Rings. I absolutely adore all of those movies. Not so much The Hobbit, but they're fine. And so there's lore-rich things that I can gain a new understanding of, or watch multiple times and have this different relationship with it. I really do love those things. But yeah, there's just not too many. I'd say maybe Seven Samurai gets on my list too, as well, as far as a comfort movie.
I kind of wish I was like you in that regard, where I was constantly looking for new things, but I'm so I think you know this, I'm so not I am so much I love rewatch. Not even that I love, but it's like I oftentimes will try and watch new things, and it's just I oftentimes find that the new things are just not as good as the old things. So like, why take a chance on something when I can watch Predator for the 400th time? I know it's going to be good, you know, like, and like, so I do rewatch a lot of movies repeatedly. The movie I selected, which is people might go, that's a weird comfort movie. It's The Crow. I will say I watch it almost once a week.
I think that's great.
Not in its entirety, but I do watch parts of it. Like I have it on Amazon Prime. It's right there. I know it's going to be good. It has all the elements that I like, but we'll get into that. But I do that for Ninja Turtles, I watch that a lot. Jaws is a couple times a year. I mean, any 70s or 80s action movie, like I pretty much, if it stars one of a roided up dude, like I'm gonna watch that like 3 or 4 times a year. Like I don't.
Hell yeah.
So for me, I very much spend a lot of my time trying to. A lot of my movie watching time is spent on these like comfort movies, which sucks. Like, but what's fun about it though, at least for me, is that I do spend a lot of time trying to find like hidden gems from the 70s and 80s. Cause I just think the 70s and 80s were better movies. I just do.
Old man. Anyway.
I wasn't even alive for most of them. What are you talking about? These are all movies that came out before I was alive.
Yeah, but you get it.
A little bit, but like, don't tell me that like, I don't know, anything made in the last 10 years is like as good as like Goodfellas. Like, no, it's just not.
Goodfellas is really incredible.
Yeah.
Though maybe Ocean's 11.
Fuck you. I will disconnect right now.
Hey, Ocean's 11 was good as fuck. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not, dude. It's fucking sick. But I'll leave that.
No, I'm not going to leave it. You brought it up, and now I'm going to drag you through the mud for it.
It's good. It's a 4 out of 5.
It's a fuck you. It's a 4 out of 5. I saw that shit in theaters, and I don't remember anything about it because it's a forgettable, generic ass bullshit movie.
And
it's a fucking remake
made in the 70s or the 80s.
And it's a remake.
So, Brad Pitt, George Clooney.
Listen,
what are we talking about?
I love Brad Pitt and George Clooney in their right roles. You like it because there's a tiny Asian man inside of a barrel. That's why you like it.
Listen, I have some personal taste, okay, that goes into that. But I like all that shit. I like action. I like spy movies. I like all that shit.
I know, but when you told me that you thought Ocean's 11 was you legitimately told me Ocean's 11 was better than Usual Suspects, and I wanted to choke you.
and I fucking said what I said, dude. It's way more fun.
And I felt what I felt.
I think it's way more fun. Usual Suspects is more like intelligent, but like, ew, don't care. I want the rule of cool. Yeah, but I think there's something really nice about the way that you watch stuff over time, though. Like you can go back to stuff in this. Like I wish I had more of that, because I will sit there and think of a movie that I saw like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever the case may be. And I'll sit there and be like, no, I'm not going to rewatch that, even though I'm in a totally different place in my life. And I think that movie would be good because I already watched it. Like, I'm very much that person, and I wish I wasn't. And like, this is a good excuse for me to do that. Like, I had seen The Crow years ago, years and years ago, and I remember liking it, but I definitely, and like rewatching it, I was like, man, this movie's great. Like, and I was like, I didn't think about it in that way because I wouldn't have rewatched it because I had technically already seen it. Yeah. And that like limits me from having certain movie experiences that I wish I could more often. Like I'm really enjoying, like right now with my current boo, we're going through movies, we're talking about media, all these things, and there's so much movie wise that he hasn't seen that I have, and I'm like, oh good, I finally get an excuse to rewatch some of my favorite things. So it's almost like, maybe a healthy person would be a mix of both of us, I guess.
Probably. And I know you've mentioned that before, that like that's part of the reason you like the show, is it gives you a reason to go back and rewatch some of these movies. And then we also challenge each other with movies that we probably never would watch.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to start off with this week. I never would have watched this movie. Dreaded watching your movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into it on my thoughts, because they are mixed. They are mixed.
Okay.
So you selected My First Mister. It's a 2001 movie by a first one and only. This is her only movie she made. Christine Lahti, who's most famous for being on the show Chicago Hope. She made this movie starring Albert Brooks and Lily Sobieski. Blue, what do you like about this movie? And then give me an elevator pitch of what it is before we break it down, because there are some things I have to talk about.
Well, it's probably the best movie ever, and I think that's a good place to start as far as like just a quick pitch. How would I describe this? It is a story of connections that come from peculiar places.
Okay.
An overarching element of a story based on how we all feel sad and we all feel loneliness and we all feel pain, and it all can manifest very differently for all of us. But there is a beauty in finding someone so opposite of you who can feel what you felt and make you feel more human in the process. And I think that's what this movie is.
Okay.
On a less, on a grandiose, poetic way, it's a story of a teenage girl who gets a job working at a men's fancy dress wear shop and befriends her manager. It's kind of an odd couple movie, but they're not a couple.
Yes. So the reason that almost forgot. Ripley, here you go, buddy. Sorry, audience. The reason that because this is pitched and it's presented as it's almost like a romantic movie, but like a romantic odd couple movie, but it's not, question mark. Between a 17-year-old and a 49-year-old man.
They don't have a relationship.
I understand that, but there is definitely hints at some weirdness. I mean, she fucking steals his underwear for one. When she sticks his underwear in her shirt, I was like, "Don't do that! Like, that's a crime."
Sure.
But yeah. So what it really? I mean, just on the overarching theme, it's more or less. It's okay, let me rephrase that. The first half of this movie is more or less a odd couple where they are mostly just best for some reason, I didn't really understand why she attached to him so much. I'm guessing because she had a shitty relationship with her father, so she maybe saw him as a father figure. Father's played by John Goodman, which was fantastic for me. I mean, cast is pretty good in this movie, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's stacked.
But yes, it's more, the movie is more or less about their friendship and them getting to sort of open up to one another, like him kind of getting her to not be so fucking depressed and like even, which we're gonna talk about that. Whoever made this movie, Christine Lahti, doesn't know shit about goth culture. I will tell you that much at all. Because when she puts the headphones on and she's like, "Listen to this music," it's literally, I wish it was like a, "We're all going to the party. We're all going to the party."
Okay, first of all, the song is "Don't Blame It on the Children." It's a very
what it
popular
was.
reggae song.
I'm sorry. It was "Don't Blame It on the Children." It was the reggae song. That's what it was.
Don't blame it on the children. Don't you?
We all know that that's definitely what goths listen to, is reggae music. Whenever I see one, I go, "Hey, man, we be jamming." Like,
to be fair, does she actually verbatim say that she is goth? I don't think she ever actually takes that title.
I mean, she goes to, I believe she describes it as a goth club. And
yeah, she goes to like that cafe with him and gets a coffee and stuff. But can you be alternative in this time space and not necessarily be goth? Because she doesn't wear the DIY like goth wear or the goth makeup trad goth type stuff either.
I don't know. I mean, she's definitely at a goth club. I will say that. Like,
sure, yes.
And I swear that there's moments where she kind of mentions it. I don't know. It just, it definitely seemed like that's what they were going for, like with all the piercings and the although I'll be honest, I'll say, like, if somebody was in high school and like put henna tattoos on their hands and like stuff, like they would have kept their ass kicked in my school. We would have been like, "You're a fucking dork." Like temporary tattoos were not like, "Ooh, that's dark and edgy. Like,
Mhm.
um, so I'll be on her presentation is partly because I always look at these movies. I'm like, there's some deeper reason why Blue picks these movies, even if Blue doesn't know there's a reason. But I assume you did on this one.
Yes and no.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna just take a guess here. I mean, the movie kind of opens with her just being a melancholia, like just depressed teen, obsessed with kind of pain. I don't want to say death, but pain. And that I see that you definitely could have related to, because when I first met you, you were a dark person. Thank God you're not anymore.
I know, I'm a little ray of sunshine now.
But I really do feel like a lot of the younger stuff, I just feel like the director didn't nail a lot, because I was just like, in my experience, granted, I'm not a 17-year-old girl, but I was a 17-year-old fucking like alternative kid, kind of outcast, like not, I was more emo than goth, but like it kind, not that fucking different. And a lot of that culture I just did not see represented appropriately on screen. It seemed to me like someone who was like 40 and was like, I know what the kids are into, but that was just me.
Yeah, I think part of it's going to be, maybe partially age range, cultural. And I also think there's like a gender idea in there as well, just because like, so for me, like I relate a lot to who this person was like when I was growing up. Like this would be very much like how I would have felt. This is very much like how I would have done a lot of things, felt a lot of things, how I would have expressed myself a lot. The eulogy thing, like, yes, like very much me. But I never growing up, like claimed any of that. I look at myself now and I'll say like, yeah, I like, I'm a gothic, like model, whatever, this goth, whatever. But like, I also know, like, realistically, I don't really know if I fit in that subspace, to be honest. I mean, maybe visually, but like it's also a pop culture or subculture thing based on music. And I do like the music, but it's not like my go-to, right? My music is like, I listen to rap mostly, which is not, when you see me out as like my 2005 mall goth outfit, you don't think, these bitches love Sosa's banging in my fucking headphones, but it is. So that's like my experience of it. So even as a young kid, when I was,
I'm aware of what you listen to. It's not just rap; it's problematic rap.
It's male manipulator music. Yes, I know who I am.
You listen to rap music that is extremely demeaning to women.
Yes. Yes, I do. And so I guess for me, like I grew up in that way of like I respected of what I knew as like a youngin', because I would say I started to like dress and like wanted and like express an interest in like a lot of the alternative stuff pretty young. Like definitely well before I got to like middle school or anything like that. And I liked it. Like I loved the 90s like chokers and this, like I was all trust. I was about it. The spooky accessories. Yes. Like I have a picture of me in 3rd grade in this cute little like layered t-shirt with like that's black, and then like the undersleeves are like little skull and crossbones, little stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 8 years old trying to be so edgy. So I've always been like attracted to that aesthetically. But I never really called myself anything in that vein, because now I guess I would probably describe myself as more like, I don't know, I guess alternative or emo. I don't really know. But at the time I was like, I won't be goth, I won't be emo, because like the music is like the biggest part of like these subcultures. And I, at the time, was just like, I was expressing myself. Like I found myself in characters like Raven from Teen Titans and like, and like this girl, because I watched this movie very young. So being able to see like My First Mister and like seeing her, and I was like, wow, like I found these like archetypes of people that I was like, they feel like me, they dress like how I want to dress, like they're the coolest people I've ever seen. I want to be that. And I never really got into it on like a music scene. So I never claimed any of those things either, as far as growing up being emo or goth. Like people would ask me, are you goth? And I'd be like, I guess. Not really. I still, to this day, even I have a complex about it. Actually, I just thought about it. Someone asked me at one of the stores I work at if I was emo, and I was like, well, I don't really listen to music. And they were like, oh, like, because that's not what people like associate with anymore. I think those genres of people have definitely branched out into more of like maybe blame that on TikTok, but like an aesthetic culture or like a a phenomenon there where there's less emphasis on certain traditional aspects. And they were like,
some of us keep the emo old school, and we fucking still are listening to Taking Back Sunday and crying all the time. All right.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. But that's why I don't claim it. I don't claim it either. And yeah, there's just so I related to her in the sense that I don't think she ever actually claimed anything. I knew she like frequented those places, and that would have been something that I would have experienced. I guess fair. At that time.
I just there's also a line in the movie later that kind of to me I just got a little bit of that the writer didn't quite understand what this what alternative, we'll just broaden it to alternative culture, because there is a moment too where like at one point they're like, yeah, you probably listen to like rap music, and she's like, I hate rap music, and I was like, okay, so you hate rap music, so but you listen to like I was like this, what's going on here? Like I felt like I just feel like it would have made a lot more fucking sense if she put the goddamn headphones on him and it was like Manson or like something. It's a small thing, I understand,
sure,
but like it would have made a lot more sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
Like if 9 Inch Nails was like, if it was like, if he the perfect song for the movie, by the way, a song about pain. And then I'm now like, I know I just went through this whole thing of like me being like, I am emo and whatnot. And I for sure am. I mean, I think it's a pretty apt description of me as a person. But then like there is some like kind of goofy, cheesy lines that come out of this, out of like her, like, which I think is appropriate because she is a 17-year-old angsty teenager.
Sure.
But like the part where she's like, because she has like a lot of piercings in this movie at the beginning. Like she has like not even a lot. She has like 2 nose rings and her lip,
I think her eyebrow and stuff and too.
Her eyebrow and her lip. So she has like 4 piercings. But there is like, and I guess it's probably something that like a teen would say that they're like, she's like, I have the piercings because the physical pain manifests or something like about the like that she got them not because of an aesthetic. She got them like to feel pain or something, which
because she did them herself was like her thing.
Bullshit, she did them herself, but
that's the plot of the movie. It's self-inflicted.
Yeah,
it was clear that she was self-harming through that and other things.
I mean, she like later
trigger warning
straight up does.
Trigger warning.
But okay, let's set up the big thing here though is basically her family is going through change, right? Like, it's unclear to me when the divorce happened. But she's got her mom played by Carol Kane, who I love, so fucking funny. I wish they would have let her be a little more funny in this movie, but her mom is played by Carol Kane. Her mom's kind of like this happy, crazy, bubbly person that is sort of dealing with the trauma of her mother dying, the grandmother being gone. She's married to Michael McKean. Would have loved to have seen him be a little more funny in this movie. I'm just why are we hiring these great comedians and then not letting them do funny things? But and she doesn't like her stepdad. Her real dad, John Goodman, runs a burger stand and is somehow a piece of shit, but seems like he's pretty well informed on his daughter's life. So I don't quite get that.
He cheated on her mom.
Oh, okay. So did I miss that part? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I think the piece of shit mentality was coming into it.
Okay. Because like there is the scene where she like is talking to him and he's like fixing up the roof and you're waiting for him to be like absentee father, and then he like literally describes like every aspect of her life. Like he's like, yeah, you mean the fact that you just got a job and you're actually looking for a new place and you're doing blah 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 blah, blah. And then he's like, yeah, and the fact that you fucking hate me. And she's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's a very early in the movie, and like part of the exposition there's like a line about like dad cheating on mom basically.
So she decides that she can't live there anymore. So she's going to get a job so that she can get money so she can move out. So she goes to a mall. It sort of has a fight. I don't even know what, like it's not positive. She calls him like a dickhead or something. No. She says he's a fat dickhead with a beer belly. And then he makes a joke back where he's like, I don't have a beer belly. This is a beer belly. And then he like sticks his gut out and then he hires her.
Well, they have, so their first interactions are about like the piercing specifically, right?
Well, yeah.
And all of that like kind of like comment, and then that's when he's like, you come back with a few less holes in your face, because he's given it to her as much as she's given it to him, in my opinion. Like he's like, yeah, come back with a few less holes in your face and blah blah, and we'll see, like whatever. So they have this like little banter that I don't think either one of them took as like
Serious.
no, not really. Or like on an equal playing field. I think that made them maybe respect them a little bit more, in the sense of like, she's giving it to him, he's giving it to her. Obviously, he can like roll with the punches, so to speak, when he does that gag. So I think there's like a beginning of a respect there.
Okay, that's fair. And then, so then they have this scene, which is, again, I felt like this was like a 40-year-old woman being like, isn't this wild? Like showing her like pull the piercings out. Cause she did, I looked it up. She did get all these piercings for the movie. Because they wanted her to like do this scene of her pulling them out. And I was like, I guess in 2001, that was still like, people were like, whoa, look at that. Like, but yeah, she kind of like, not completely. I think she still has like her like one nose piercing, and she still has kind of her like gothy hair. But she goes back, gets a job with him, and almost immediately like they become like pretty good friends, because he offers her a ride home and she really attaches to him.
Yeah, I think there's a good bond between them. Obviously, he is seeing, okay, she's willing to play ball because she does come back with less piercings and like, and whatnot. But they start on like a trial basis, right? They start with the warehouse and all that. They kind of call it out, but he doesn't really say it by scene, but you can see how disgusting their inventory is. And then obviously you can see her color coded, like amazing, like everything afterwards and all this stuff. So I think there's like a respect on that level where he's starting to, think of her as not just some punk ass teenager. And then she's curious about him, because I think a lot of her interactions are either like what we've seen, right? Because we've seen a couple different interactions with her either not being seen or being disregarded. We've seen her in her classroom. So the beginning of the movie does start out with her reading a poem, essentially like a work for her high school class, which I am very funny. It's very funny to me that you didn't call it out, because I called out the fact that you would probably call me out on this. But the part of her poem is, I don't think about myself as a teenage girl or a woman, just the opposite of a boy. And I was like, okay, me.
Yes, that is very much you. Yeah.
And so we see that, and you see how her class reacts, and they don't really fucking give a shit about it. And like she's being very vulnerable. She doesn't get that. We see her at home. She's not, her space isn't really respected. Her time, like she tries to interact, but it's all on this very surface level. It doesn't feel real, doesn't feel genuine type of relationship. So she gets someone who's actually willing to play ball, who's willing to like be a little sassy with her in this, and who's also willing to give her a chance just as a person. I think that's a really good like foundation for them. I can see why it elevated so quickly.
Okay, that's fair. I will say, wait, back to the is she goth or not alternative. There is the scene which I laughed at, which again, maybe this is what 17-year-old girls do. I don't know. 17-year-old boy wasn't really doing it. You know what? Maybe I was. They do show her like one of her like reasons she's like, I have to move out, which I was like, really, is when she goes in home and she like cranks up the music, and it's like she is like listening to like some generic fucking like, like this is rock music, and like starts like having convulsions, like a head banging, and it just didn't. I was like, all right, Lily's never been to a concert before, but
see, I did feel like that looked like some cyber goth shit I'd see under a bridge.
I mean, I was like, when I watched it, I was like, nobody does that. And I was like, maybe girls do it. And then as I was saying it out loud, I was like, yeah, but like, I for sure like mouthed the words to like the used into a hairbrush, like pretending I was singing like to, I mean, I might still do that from time to time.
Who knows, right?
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that one is more accurate. Yeah, but so she pretty much attaches to R, she calls him.
Yeah, there's a big connection. She sees herself in him, right? Because she changed her name essentially. She has her actual name, which is Jennifer.
I wonder why you related to that.
I know, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me being indoctrinated by My First Mister. Anyway, she goes by Jennifer. A lot of the people in her life, that like her classmates, her teacher, her mom, call her Jennifer, Jenny. She doesn't want that. She wants to go by Jay. So when he's introducing himself and there's this moment of like this, I love how she says it, like, can I call you R? And he's like, yeah. And he doesn't think anything of it, but it's like, that's where she's starting to bond with him on a different like level, because he actually calls her by the name that she fucking wants. Wow. Crazy concept. And then also like, she like asks if she can essentially return that sense of seeing, to him. And I don't think he thinks of it the same way. Not that it's bad, but he's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. Call me whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, no, and I like that. And then again, he drives her home, and basically from there on forth, she's kind of stuck to him like glue.
I think ever after the scene where I believe it is after that, where she had sent she wrote a poem and she did a paper airplane.
Yes. Well, a poem / suicide note. Like,
yeah, she writes a lot of eulogies for herself, essentially.
Yes.
And he found one of them, and he like looks at her arm. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and they have like a moment.
He inquires about it, and she's like, listen, I wasn't going to do anything. I just write stupid notes or whatever. Now, so from here on out, for a while, this is what the movie is. It's them just getting closer, and then kind of getting closer, and then becoming, and it's almost like they get close, and then he has to like push her away because he's like, this is fucking weird. Like, I'm an old man and you're a kid. And then they come back together. I mean, that's kind of like the next 40 minutes of the movie is essentially, I like, there's like two moments where he kind of like pushes her away, and then is like, they end up coming back together. And I will say this, Blue, I was shocked at how there are moments that are creepy. There are. When she steals his underwear and smells it, pretty fucking weird. When she's laying in bed with him, pretty weird. But
well, that wasn't really his idea, I suppose. But.
Yeah, no, and that he like kind of freaks out about it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of weird. But overall, that section of the movie I did find to be kind of heartwarming, and I like it was, again, a little awkward at times, but I guess that's probably the nature of it. But I did find that section of the movie to be enjoyable. Like I was like, I can understand why Blue like this makes them feel good, because you know it's sweet, and you know you see him come out of his shell a little bit. You know, she's kind of learning to be a little, I don't know, be less self-involved. I almost feel like less like an annoying little shithead teenager. Yeah,
I think there's. So I'm gonna talk about that in 2 points. I do think there is an element of her being less self-involved, but I also like how I interpreted always was more of a sense of connection. I don't think she connects in the same way that other people do, and how many people do connect in the same way, right? Because there is like this moment like where when she tells him about like her self-harm, and then they have that moment, and then she is confiding in him, and then they have the tattoo scene where like he's like, I can't do it, and also we can't be friends, and also then she confronts him, and then he just tells her all these things that he's scared of, and and all these this wonderful like back and forth, and that's what she wants deep connection. She wants to be able to talk to her mom about her dead grandmother. She wants to be able to have conversations and react to people in a different way, in a more genuine way. And a lot of other people, no shame to that mom, even in that scenario, that she didn't want to talk about it because that's her dead mom. But she's looking for that. The reason that she puts herself on display in front of her classmates and does this whole vulnerable poem, she's looking for this vulnerability. That is her like whole character. She is very much herself. She is almost begging someone to find out the fact that she's writing these poems, that she's doing all these things, that she is this person. And I think that's a core element of who she is and what she's looking for. Now, I think, not that I'm always for it. I think the relationship parts of the movie where it gets a little like that, like the stealing the underwear or like whatever. I think some of it's time. I do think 2001, you could probably joke about different things that you can joke about now. But I also think a lot of it is, and maybe this is me reading into it. Maybe this is coming from my personal experience, what I bring to the film. I'm autistic. I had like, especially like my teenage years were all about, and my entire adult, well, before adult life was about like learning how people talk to one another, how people connect with one another. What I say just now why was that funny? I didn't mean for it to be funny. Why is everyone laughing? I said something funny and now everyone's mad at me and they said like that's not appropriate for this time. Like, what does that mean? All of my life was like that, and in understanding relationships and boundaries. And just to trauma dump a little bit, you know, I was a vulnerable kid as well. I went through a lot of things that made me pretty vulnerable in terms of you know, I got groomed by adults. Who doesn't, right? I'm sure it was just the normal amount that everyone gets groomed. And
it wasn't.
right.
I know you pretty well. No,
Oops.
it wasn't.
Oopsie.
It was a lot repeatedly.
Teehee. I'm just too sexy. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so for me, a lot of my foundational experience was partially that I was a vulnerable kid. And partially that autistic, partially like the home situation at the time. There's a lot of reasons why things were occurring the way that they were. But I think a lot of it also stems from the fact that I was very naive and I didn't know, I think, correctly how two people should interact with each other, especially from like a child to adult. I think that's a theme that continued on for a lot of my life, unfortunately. And because things that would come naturally to other people just don't fucking come to me. And I almost saw myself in her a lot because you can see him repeatedly like trying to set a boundary with her and trying to set like this. And you could tell like she's new to vulnerability. She's new to relationships. She's new to friendships. Like, and she's obviously has this idea of like, what would it be like to call someone my lover? Like, what would it be like to call someone this? And this is the only person she's ever fucking connected with that way. It makes sense to me that the wires in her brain are a little misguided, essentially, about like that. Because he always is like, that's not what's happening. Don't say that, don't do that. Don't say that, dude. You know, they have this this bond. And I don't think that part ruins it. I think it, like, if he had continued to live, for example, spoiler, I think that would have been like kind of a guiding dynamic because she doesn't connect with people her own age. She has to learn how this relationship would look without any foundational experience and only seeing like teenagers in a movie or like a sitcom character and like this. Like, she doesn't have anything to build that off of. So I kind of related to her in that way. That's how I felt, like, from what I knew about her character. Like, she says her one sexual experience was like her as a kid, like playing doctor with another kid. Like, this is someone who clearly doesn't have any foundation for sex, romance, love, what that looks like, how it should look, anything. So now you have someone you've trusted with everything. To be
clear, what they said was he mistook my vagina for my anus and stuck a crayon inside. So
so that's
her first experience was that, which also means she was okay with getting a crayon in her butthole. But okay.
Well, I don't know about okay. I don't know what was happening.
Well, apparently she was like, it sounded like, I mean,
it made her laugh, I guess.
It sounded like a consensual act.
I mean, yeah, they're kids. They're like, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's all that she has. That's the only thing she's had as a kid.
Well, and that she jacks off to Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, that's it. So it makes sense to me that she feels the way that she feels. And I think with her meeting Randall's son, that is where like that relationship becomes much more clear for her.
Yeah, I get that. Now, I will say big shock here, I think. I related more to Randall.
The old man.
Well, he's afraid of it.
Think about.
Well, he's afraid of everything, and you know, I have a lot of anxiety and fears. You know, I will say though, the one thing though that I think you're right. The reason why she has the relationship with now why I relate to Jay is that I think that the core of their relationship is very much something that you and I discuss a lot. And it's the fact that she is looking for genuine connections, and she's just not finding them in her day-to-day life. And you and I have had a lot of recent conversations about this off camera and off mic, where both of us, we feel that there's just not enough people in the world that we genuinely, honestly, I don't fuck it. This may sound like that. I actually have an interesting conversation with.
Yeah.
You know, like it's, and if you find that, and if the person happens to be fucking 49, if that's the only person you can find it with, then like, yeah, you are going to glom onto them and like want to nurture that relationship. It's very much how I am with my friends. It's very much how I am with my new partner. Like so yeah, I related very much to that part. Now,
yeah,
the part where I'm going to be mad at you, and I was mad at you.
Okay.
Seriously. So like, I was like,
wait, seriously?
Yes, I was mad at you. And this is where my biggest problem with the movie is. Like, honestly, everything up to now was enjoyable. A little bit of awkwardness here and there, but that is kind of the nature of the subject matter, I feel like. But was all for it for the first hour of the movie. The second hour of the movie, I was like, I am mad at you, Blue. I'm mad at this movie. And it turns into a goddamn medical drama in the last hour. And it's not even like a little bit of the movie. It's not like the last 10 minutes. No, he passes out. It's revealed he has leukemia. The next hour of the movie, he's in a goddamn hospital. What are we fucking doing? So like, I was furious, Blue, furious. Because to me, it's like it's putting a hat on a hat, and then you're taking those two hats and you're putting like two spinning hats on top of it. Like the premise of the movie with this older guy and this younger girl genuinely becoming friends, like finding, helping each other like together. That is a interesting enough premise for a movie. I don't need to also have like, and there's a lost son introduced. Like, I was serious, dude. I was like, this whole second act of the movie, it feels like someone just took a whole nother movie to me and just slapped it on here. Because it's like, the premise of the movie worked so well in the beginning that when all of a sudden we're introducing this whole other death element, I really was like, dude.
Excited.
Yes, I was. I will be real. Liked it. First half, had a great time. Second half, as soon as we introduced this, I'm like, oh my God, no. Like, I don't care about his son. I don't care.
I do get that. I'm going to say all of what you've said is true. I do think the first half of this movie is great. And I think the second half, dare I say, goes into a little bit of an autopilot, dare I say. However, because of this movie, because my relationship to like these characters, of course, I am obsessed with her. I do the whole cemetery thing that she does. I literally did that like a week or two ago. I literally bought a fucking like pair of binoculars to like use how she does. Like, I very much modeled myself off of this person. Like, I loved her. And as a film, that second half is not very good. However, I kind of like it in the sense of, we have two characters, right? You have one at the beginning of their life and you have one at the end of their life, unbeknownst to them or beknownst to them necessarily. There's a very interesting dynamic in that, right? And it makes sense, or his previous behavior of him never really going out, never really doing anything. I don't know. He's not really like investing in anything relationship wise or long term, because he doesn't know how long he's going to even live because of how he is. So there's a lot there. But I like this idea of, there's a relationship to life and death that I think if maybe it had been written a little differently, it would have been a little more clear. But there's a relationship there so he's dying. There's that process. And for all intents and purposes, like, she kind of has brought him back to life, right? Like, she has shown him throughout their time, like, you can have these relationships with people. She's called him out on his bullshit. They've gotten close. They've done experiences together. He's like this fatherly figure for her. Like, they have these memories, going to find an apartment for her, all this. They listen to music together. Like, they have this like bond that he hasn't had in years, right? So she brings him a lot of life. And I think for her character arc, for that to continue, and the fact that she finds this out, right? Because she wants to snoop, right? She says, where's the good stuff, basically? And he says, you're the good stuff. And but she, of course, snoops. She does her thing. She finds out things. She figures, like, I can go, like, maybe his wife, like, would want to see him, his ex-wife. Like, I know, like, he really cared for her, and, like, he feels like he messed up in a lot of ways, like, whatever. And instead she finds this surprise, right? She finds the son. And I think there's something beautiful about that, and, like, bringing him that connection and that life, even in his death at the very end. And he is very grateful to have known him, and to, like, be able to be like, I'll pay for therapy. I'm sorry. Which is, like, really fun. And she connects with him in death, right? Like, she says, like, she makes him promise, like, you have, like, relieve me signs, like, do this, like, how her grandmother does. Like, she wants that connection with him there. And I think there's something, because even their connection is death, right? Her initial vulnerability to him is her writing about her own death.
Yeah,
there
and
is
her grandma.
Yeah, she's death. She is comfortable in a cemetery. She finds life in it. She writes her own eulogy. She is death, and he is a life waiting to be lived. And they find this beautiful dynamic in him passing and having that moment, and how much life she's able to bring him at that moment, and also how she sees her own life. Obviously, she is repairing relationships with her mom. She's repairing relationships with everyone in her family and her immediate circle, and now she has this new friend, this new bond, that is more appropriate for a romantic connection. And, like, they go to the cemetery and it's beautiful in a way.
Yeah, I didn't really buy their their connection as much, but, like, it's more appropriate, obviously.
Yeah.
So again, I get what all what you're saying, and I think that you're right. Like, there is, like, death is a thing in this movie that sort of is a thread throughout the movie. My only issue is, fine, that's, if you want it, like, I'm just approaching it, like, as a film, like, as a I think if that had been the final 15 minutes of the movie, that would have been a lot better, as opposed to that's the last 55 minutes of the movie. I mean, I paused it. I was like, when he got in the hospital, I was like, oh, there's probably only 20 minutes left. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is going to be the rest of the movie. It just, I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that was a poor choice. I would have rather had 40 more minutes of them growing together and learning more about themselves. I think that, and then if you still want to tack it on, I mean, other movies have done it. You can do he's sick, and do that story in 15 minutes. I think that would have been a better use of the time that they had. I agree. Not that it's a long movie. It's about 2 hours. I think just a little over.
109 minutes.
Yeah. I just think that would have been a better use of the time. The whole son thing, I get, because it sort of brings an appropriate relationship for him. The only issue is at that point, as an audience member and as just a viewing person, you don't really give a shit about this kid, because you're now invested in Jay, and you're pretty much invested in only two characters in this movie. You're only really invested in Jay and R, and to kind of have this third party character come in, and I'll be honest, kind of a boring actor. He was like, it wasn't nothing.
I love him.
He didn't really do it for me. I think that there's a few fumbles in the last act of this movie. It just, and then just as a side note, I mean, like, now that I watch that, I'll probably have a nightmare about being in the hospital, because I think I'm dying all the time. So between that and the movie I watched yesterday in the theater, fucking great.
Jesus.
Spoiler alert. Somebody has cancer in Good Boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wish, like, in my heart, like, if I could make movies one day, I would make a better version of this. I think it's incredible. I like the bones of it. I love this odd couple bond. I think the relationship between the confusion, like, I think there's something cool about, like, showing her get jealous over this person that he has a romantic relationship with, and how that in turn really necessarily didn't manifest as a romantic jealousy by the end. That it was jealousy on, like, this is the only person I have, like, this is the only person, and this person is taking their time. I think there's something really interesting that you can play there in terms of boundaries, relationships, this loneliness, this connection. I think I can make this movie pretty fucking good. But yeah, the second half just
it just fumbles. It's just
it does.
But I will say that I think you're right. Like again, I went into it with the worst intentions. I was like, oh god, this is not going to be good. Like, because just on the surface, if you describe this like, yeah, it's about an old guy and a young girl and they're hanging out, it's like, okay. But truthfully, like the first half won me over. Like I liked it. And I do think that the overarching story has great bones. And I mean, it just, again, I think with a few minor tweaks, if you remade this movie or made a movie like this, you could make the movie more enjoyable. And I don't know, like, honestly, there's a quick way to do it. Again, either just use that time to use that 40 minutes to just show them bonding more, or edit the death shit, edit 40 minutes of that out and just have it be an hour, like have it be 40 minutes shorter, and it probably would work a lot better.
I think my initial thought is I would write it in the way that his ex-wife was not dead. I think having that like relationship brought back a little bit, not that it would mean anything, but like give this character arc some closure for him in terms of like, cause he's shared with her very vulnerable things, right? About like his memories of her and like her baby powder footsteps through the house and stuff. Like if Jay communicated that to her and this, like, I do think even if they ended badly, which is the implication of this closeness of this or like whatever, that she would still go and see him at this point of the movie. I would love to have a scene of them having this relationship in the car, like Jay, the mom, maybe even the son, maybe you can throw that in there, and that being a better like formula for a bond, and like understanding, like you would have you could play so much in the fact of Jay's relationship with her mother and this person, and like this family connection, and this, like, you could play so many better routes at the end that gives R's character better closure, that gives like Jay better closure, that sets up the relationship with the potential relationship with the son better, because maybe he does want to get closer to his dad and that's their bond, because she remembers so much more about him, and then they have like that connection, and like there's something beautiful there that could be explored that they either just didn't have the time for, or didn't have the vision for, or something like that. But it really would have been, again, if I ever make a movie, and I do think I could do something like this, but much more, I think I could do the alienated teen store manager friendship bond much better. So working in those environments too, all the time, and play off the ending as a lot better of a character arc for all of them.
Okay, and I think yes, I can see why this story resonates with you. I can see why this to me would be a rough comfort movie.
Sure.
Like because
he dies.
Yeah, well, and again, it's a long period of the movie. I could, if he died quick, it'd be like, okay, one thing, but it's like, it's long and like it's sad, and like sometimes I guess maybe that is comforting being sad, but I feel like what I'm getting from you is that I feel like what's comforting to this movie is their relationship, not like the plot where he dies. Like,
yeah, what I find comforting about this movie is, well, I mean, there's some simple things. I do love the aesthetic, obviously. I love the soundtrack of this movie. It's like on a playlist on Spotify for me. Like, I fucking love it. I love it. Okay. So I have all of those elements, and I do think I feel very seen by Jay as a character in terms of changing her name, not feeling like a woman, being isolated, this pain that she feels, this no one's understanding you. Like, as cliche as that is, like, that is experience that a lot of depressed teenagers are going to go through. And like this relationship with the mother, where like, I don't know, she's like weirdly infantilizing her sometimes. And it's like, there's a lot there. And I also relate to her in the sense, like, we don't have to talk about this too much. Don't want to spike your anxiety. But I do believe that like death isn't the end. I do believe that, you can, like when she's like talking to her grandmother and like this, like when she has these scenes in the cemetery, I believe all that's very real. I'm a very spiritual person. So I relate to her in that sense as well. So there's like a spiritual connection there that happens. So for me, even though he does die and there's this like his death is a process, I think at the same time, with how I view death and with how Jay views death, it's not the end. It's not the end, you know, and I feel that for me as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
Well, overall, do we want to are we giving a score to this? We usually rate our movies on a scale of 1 to 5. I'll let
I'm just
you go
gonna go out and
first.
say, as my comfort movie,
Mhm.
as a movie that I just on pure enjoyment, I give it a 5. Realistically, it's like a 3.5.
Okay.
But I feel like it's a 5. It's a 5 on my letterbox. It's a 5 for me. It's a 5 on my heart.
It's in
It
your
means a
top
lot
4
to
on
me.
Letterboxd. I
I
know.
literally own the movie theater poster of it. Like I have it in storage. I have like a huge.
You are
movie
probably
theater
the only
poster.
one in America who has that poster.
Yes, I fucking am, bitch. And I had, I had the binoculars. I had all these things. Like it meant so much to me. And for me to like find it in a random way, it was in like the dollar bin at Family Video, and I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm taking this. I was like, wait, this looks cool. Like just the cover alone, I was like, huh. I mean, to find this movie in the way that I did, to relate to it in the way that I did, to process it in the way that I did, all of that's very important to me. But realistically, as a film, it's probably like a 3.5.
Okay. I will give it. I will go with 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did enjoy parts of it. That last hour is kind of rough, but
I get it.
there is elements there that I liked, and I could see why you liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go, obviously, and again, it's your comfort movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a 5. It'd be crazy if you're like, this is one of my this is my top 4 favorite movies of all time. 2. Like,
yeah, this is in my top 4 on Letterboxd.
Yeah. So yeah, it should be a 5 for you. I mean, spoiler alert, mine's going to be a 5 for me. But yeah, I think realistically, I would put it as like a 3, because the first half is surprisingly good, and I think it warrants a viewing of the movie. I would recommend this to people if you like kind of, if any of this sounds interesting to you, I would recommend watching it. It just be ready for a little bit of a disjointed movie in 2 halves.
Yeah, the target demographic is definitely going to be someone who is someone alternative, probably someone who's gone through some type of negative feeling, sad feeling. I mean, the target demographic of this movie is very small, but if you are in that group, I do think it would mean a lot to you.
I think that would make sense, and especially. It's going to sound kind of strange to recommend it. I think that this would be maybe a good movie to show, if you had like a teenage daughter. I think that would be a good movie to show them, and maybe turn it off after an hour and just say, "Don't worry, don't worry." He lives, and they're happy. They become friends forever. Now we're going to move on to my comfort movie. We're going to talk about a movie that gets goth culture right, baby.
This guy.
Weird that we did pick 2 movies. I mean, granted, I think The Crow might be a little more influential on goth culture than My First Mister, but
sure.
I guess
I think this is part of the culture, and Jay is just like a representation of it. I don't think that movie was like necessarily for that, I guess.
Yeah,
but The Crow.
I was just saying that The Crow became. I mean, it kind of like. I'm trying to think of a movie that is more goth than The Crow, and I don't think I can.
Unless it's like Nosferatu, maybe.
Yeah, but it has to be good.
A lot of people actually said it was great.
Well, a lot of people are fucking dumb.
Okay.
I hate that movie. No, but I mean, I'm going with like actual like goth, like subculture, like what it really is, not like gothic, because then I could say like fucking Frankenstein, that also, you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I think there's probably some real examples, like The Craft, I would say probably.
There you go.
Maybe like Interview with a Vampire.
Possibly it's a period piece, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, and all that Victorian goth shit, though, people fucking eat that shit up.
There's different eras of it, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't know. So I guess, should I give my history with this movie? Since
of course.
So I saw this. I did not see this in theaters, but I was allowed to watch anything I wanted as a kid. I never had any restrictions besides like porno. But I never had any. I never had any restrictions. And I remember like seeing the trailer for this, and like like stars must have shot out of my asshole and my eyes at the same time. This had everything that little Sam would have wanted. I was like, I always was into like, I mean, it's by the time like, you know, Slipknot and all them came around, like anything that like had like alternative rock music and shit, I was like glued to it. So I was like, there's this fucking dude and he's hot and he's wearing this fucking tight leather thing.
He is hot.
And he's shooting shit, all just guns, and there's karate, and there's a big bird and big titted women running around. I was like, oh my God, like on a level, like as a little boy, I was like insane about it. I still have the VHS of this movie because I'll never get rid of it.
Wow.
My dad's friend, his mom was a professional gift wrapper. It's like that was a real job back in the day. And I remember distinctly my dad's friend Paul, he got his mom he gave me the movie, and he got his mom to make me, it was like a haunted looking house with like a big giant fucking crow that sat on top of it. Like the present was almost like the wrapping was better than the fucking present was.
Damn. Hell yeah.
And I saw it, loved it. I can literally quote every single line from this movie beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I watch this movie when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm feeling nostalgic, when I'm feeling, and like it hits on every emotional level for me. It just comforts me in a way that I don't even know if I fully understand it, but
really,
I don't know. There's a lot of elements to this movie that it's short.
I did write down that it's the perfect movie length.
it's short. It never drags its feet. Every single fucking scene in this movie, something interesting is happening, in my opinion.
I agree.
It has, again, and it has things that I truly associate with. It's just like, you know me, I'm a lover boy. I'm like, I fall in love, and I fall in love hard. And the basis of this movie is a romance. It's a revenge story about someone who took his love away. And so like you get a little bit of a love story, you get cool fucking action, you get like a brother-sister relationship with him and Sarah. The villain, oh my God, Michael Wincott, I would have gave him an Oscar for his performance in this movie. I love it. I can't even do the deep voice, but I think we broke her. Anyway, so I love this movie, Blue. I have seen it so many fucking times. I can't even begin to. By far, the movie I've seen the most in my life. Brandon Lee is amazing in it. Just a top tier. I mean, it makes you wonder. I think we would have had another action star with a big giant fucking head, because he does have a giant head. But I think we would have had another guy in that realm of like a top tier action star. Unfortunately, of course, he died. But what's your experience with it?
Well, I wanted to ask you a question before we got into it, just because obviously you're the expert in this way, and I do think it's an incredible movie. I'm going to start there. But do you think that any of this movie's success is like attributed to that? Like, do you think that this movie either was elevated with like the goth community because of the unfortunate accident? Do you think it did so well because because to me, this movie is a classic. It's not just a cult classic. I think it's pretty well beloved by many people, as it should be. But is that because of that? Do you think there was a certain element that played into?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Granted, I was too young to really be around, but I mean, I remember people talking about it. But the reality of it is Brandon Lee was not a big star.
Sure.
He had really only done one other American movie at that point. It was like a low budget movie called Rapid Fire, I want to say. He might have had a few other small things, but it's pretty much this and Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire was like a moderate success, and then this was a giant success. This made like almost $100 million. I think that it can add to the lore of it. But that being said, it's not like I watched this movie because of, and I'm like, oh, I miss Brandon Lee. Like, but there is that part of you that like goes, well, what could have been? You know, he's Bruce Lee's son. He's, but I will say, I feel like the movie stands on its own. I truly do. Sure. Like, and I will say, like, in a way, and I'm probably what I'm about to say is controversial in the Crow cult community. When they remade it last year, I was furious. Not because I don't think that Brandon Lee, I think you can do another one. You just can't do Eric's story. You can't do Eric and Shelley's story. It just needs to be another Crow. And I would have been fine with it. But because of his death, I do think a lot of Crow fans do associate the Eric Draven character with Brandon Lee. And I think that the backlash that those, and I'll be honest, I was pissed that those motherfuckers got is because they tried to tell Eric Draven's story without Brandon Lee. If you had called that character something else, I probably would have went and saw the movie.
Sure. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's obviously I love this movie, but Blue, do you have any thoughts going into it, or what were your thoughts going? You said you've seen it one other time, so
yeah. And I remembered it, but not as well, because it definitely had been a long time since I had seen it. It did make sense for me, like watching it as like I'm like, okay, this is like a comfort movie for you. I do think aesthetically it does master that like dark but cozy kind of vibe, even though there are obviously some very horrific things that are happening and occurring, but something about like the shots, how it looks, how it feels, the rain, the amount of rain, this, like, there is a cozy element to it, besides it being the perfect length of movie. I also think there's something really true to you in terms of like, I mean, it's true love. You're a lover boy, and also the good guys win in the end. And even though horrific things happen in the movie, you need that to feel like this celebration for him getting revenge, right? I mean, you need that element. We kind of talked about like where our stance is on certain, like, for example, having a rape scene in a movie. Where is it necessary? Where is it not? Where's the line? Where is that? That's a conversation I think people should keep having in general. And
we've had them before, like whether or not, when is it valid to have it? I think in this movie it's valid.
Oh, 100%. But I think I was like seeing that and I was like, okay, it takes you to this depth, but it takes you to, I mean, this person's love was so strong that like you get this ultimate gothic revenge story that ties into it, which is really beautiful. So I did like it. I do think a little bit for me, and I don't think this is bad. I think this is just how it is, and I can't necessarily change this. I do think, I mean, there's so many speeches by Eric in the movie of like death and rebirth and revenge and all these things. And I think it does add a certain subtext, a melancholy subtext, a something special, like knowing that this person is gone. Obviously, I wish they had not. I do think that would have been really interesting to see them as a star. I think this is a good performance, especially for like his first, really major thing. It's really unfortunate that this happened. But I think watching those scenes with the themes of the movie in and of itself, I do think it added a little something special about it, with seeing this relationship, seeing this, again, just death, love, revenge, and having that knowledge that he's gone. I think that was something interesting. I'm glad it came out. I'm glad they didn't shelve it. I think it's a great film.
I'm so glad they didn't shelve it.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I mean, I don't know how much, because obviously this is not going to be. This is more of a movie. Like this is a movie that you can watch. It's not like there's a lot of subtext to it. Like,
yeah, there is depth because of the nature of what they talk about, but it's not necessarily depth at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give a brief description here. I mean, I'm assuming that most people probably know what The Crow is, but fuck it if you don't. The night before Halloween, Devil's Night, in Detroit. There's two young lovers, a rock and roll boyfriend, Eric Draven, and Shelley Webster. They are going to get married. They're going to get married the next day, but they basically have a gang of thieves come in because they were raising, basically like raising awareness and protesting and doing like, you know, stuff that like all us blue-haired libs do. And to strong arm them, they basically rape and kill Shelley and Eric. 1 year later, Eric is resuscitated by a crow, which I love that they don't go into the backstory. Like you know what I mean? Like nowadays there would be like 25 minutes on like how he got his powers. And it's like, I'll figure it out. I don't need to know like, okay, oh, the crow is it's just okay, somehow this fucking crow is magical. Cool. And actually the best way to really describe it is Shelley kind of does it. I'm not sure Shelley. Sarah kind of does it in the voiceover, which she basically says that like, you know, like that a crow that sometimes, just sometimes, I'm sorry, I can do it verbatim, but you know, when something terrible, something so bad happens and a love is so strong that a crow can carry the, you know, the soul of someone basically back to life. Eric is resuscitated. He's now unkillable. He instantly heals from any wounds, paints himself up like a clown, and he goes and gets his revenge on the 4 guys who did it, as well as eventually he's going after Top Dollar, who is really the one in charge of everything. Along the way, he reconnects with Sarah, a girl who is whose mother is a drug addict and was kind of like him and Shelley's little adopted child. And he, Officer Albrecht, who is played by the great Ernie Hudson. And I don't know, it's just love it so much.
Yeah. See, I would have liked, I get that. I don't want too much exposition necessarily. It was pretty clear that obviously he came back for unfinished business, right? And that's all well and good. And I liked that plot line. I do wish I had a tiny bit more just because they what was her name in the movie? The main villainess, I think Micah or something like that. When she is portrayed as like stealing the crow, and like this, because she recognizes it's his connection through life and death. Like you hurt the crow and that's what makes him susceptible to bullets, this, whatever, right? So there is that connection there. And so they gave us that tiny little bit of it. And I think that scene, I was kind of feeling okay with the level of information they gave me until, or at least that's in the film already, until we get to the scene where she steals it because she wants to steal essentially his power. And then she says a line that I don't really understand. Maybe you could like explain, but like she has this moment with him. She's holding the crow. And then she says like, you know, power this, blah, blah. And she's like,
only has a power. But it's a power that can be taken from him.
Well, the line where she's sitting in front of him before the crow plucks her eyes out, but where she says, "If only you and I had more time," or something along those lines. And I'm like, time to like manipulate his power, his ability. Like, what do you mean? Like that scene, like her understanding of it was very like, why did that happen? Where is that coming from? What the fuck does she mean by that? I have a lot of questions there.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, and my thought on that is just that she does seem to have some sort of otherworldly knowledge. She seems to be almost like a witch. Also, one of Sam's first ever, I was like, oh, witches are kind of hot.
Makes sense.
I guarantee you, I paused the scene of her showering several 100,000 times as a child. But yeah, I always just kind of took it as like she just, you know, whether or not we see her practicing any sort of witchcraft, that she thought that she could do something with the crow. You know,
I guess that line specifically, like the not having enough time. I'm like, why would you and Eric Draven have time together? What does that mean? Like more time before you kill him, because isn't the crow the connection? So if you take away the item, I was just very confused by that. Also, incest.
There is the incest, although again, are they truly siblings? Because
I don't know. She said that's his father's daughter, so I guess I assumed it was like half sibling.
But then there's like also the scene where he says that, and then you know, he's like, "You two were fucking related," and he's like, "Don't you see the resemblance?" Like, although I will say Michael Wincott does have some vaguely Asian features, so
I feel like they could be half siblings, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
I think that's fair. I think that they're going with how fucked up they are.
Yeah.
Can I say though, when you are talking about that scene with them trying to steal his power, probably my favorite scene, my favorite line that I say a lot when I try to jam it into conversations is when Michael Wincott is like, seems we've gone through a little bit of a transformation in the last hour. Let me do a little interpretation for you. Caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead. I'm like, I love that line.
Yeah, that's a great line. That's an absolutely great line.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's really if you really split it up, it's just he's moving from one person to the next, so it's just like it just moves like from scene to scene to scene. And I every scene it's just really cool. I mean, you get him with Tintin where he has the knives, really fun scene there. Then there's the scene, and I will then there's a scene where he has a power that is never revealed again how he has it. He can just make morphine shoot out of your arm.
Yeah.
Never questioned it. Fine with it. There actually is a deleted scene that I'm very glad that they deleted because it looked like shit. But because this is based on a comic book, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's based on a graphic novel. There is a deleted scene of this where they actually do have, I believe he's called the Skull Cowboy. He's a character in the book. I've never read the comic book, but and it's basically like his guide to being this ghost or whatever, like basically tells him, basically sets the rules up, like this is what is here, this is what you're here to do, like, you know. And but they cut that scene, and I am kind of glad it did get cut. I feel like the movie is better by keeping that ambiguous, but that's just me. He goes back, gets his engagement ring, blows that up. I mean, he reconnects with Shelley. There's a line that I will say to every cat that I ever meet, ever. Now, when I reach down and touch a cat, I go, Gabriel. I do, like, for sure. I can't tell you how many times I've done that, and I will do it to your cat too.
Well, that's fine.
I think that there's the performances of all the villains are really great, and like these, it feels like a comic book. Like they're all so over the top. Like Skank is like, I wish that I looked him up. I'm like, this guy should be in so many more movies, and like he's just not, because like he plays the little speed freak shithead so well.
Yeah, that was really great. Speaking of the Gabriel thing, just because I'm curious. I don't necessarily think there is, but like, do you think there is some symbolism with the cat? Because obviously the animals in the movie have a certain theme, right? In terms of the crow, obviously. And then the only other animal we see is this cat, right? This is his previous cat, Gabriel. And Gabriel's the name of an angel who's like God's messenger.
And it's a pure white cat. And it's lived in an abandoned,
delivers messages
in an abandoned, burned down building, and it's pure white. Yes, I do think that there is. I think that there's some sort of messaging there.
Maybe like God is approving what he's doing, essentially.
I would say maybe that, or like there's some sort of purity, because he does give it to Sarah. He gives Gabriel to Sarah, and Sarah is supposed to kind of be the, I would say, like, she is pure in a sense. I mean, because truthfully, the end of the movie should have came storyline wise when he killed T-Bird. The only reason he even goes back for the final mission is to save Sarah. I mean, truthfully, he would have never, which I always find like funny, that like if Top Dollar had like just let it go, like his whole crime network would be fine. But because he has the hubris that he has to fucking like beat this guy, like I mean, he essentially almost kills himself. Like, so I always found that interesting. But yeah, I do think that there's some symbolism with Gabriel. I'm just not quite sure what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I was like, because we see the cat picked up by the intruders. I'm pretty sure Skank.
Yes, it is Skank. Yeah,
and then it scratches them, and then like you see that, like, I don't know, there's something interesting there where I was like, and like, that they were there a year later. And then like Eric goes to like pick them up, but then like like he drops them, and I'm like,
Well, he has
or like
he has the
down.
flashback of the cat biting or attacking Skank.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, it was just interesting. I was like, that's an interesting thing to add in, at least.
Yeah. I mean, there's some symbolism. I mean, I mean, like I don't want to talk negatively about this movie, because I love it so much and it is perfect. But like, it's sort of like Famous. Like I read a book about it, and like, famously one of the most like fucked up like sets, like productions ever. Like rampant cocaine use,
cause someone to die, so
obviously not safe working conditions, and then supposedly like they're and I'm gonna paraphrase, and maybe I'm gonna get the story a little wrong here, that this is supposedly like they credit this with like the editor like basically saved this movie, that when the director turned in like the footage, basically the studio was like, what the fuck did you make? Like, this is like this, we can't do anything with this. Like, this isn't a movie. And then they like gave it to some world-class editor who like just pulled it all together and made it work, like but sort of had to make it work with what he had. But
yeah,
I think he did a great fucking job.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great overall. Are you wanting to give your star rating for it then? I mean, assuming you did say earlier that's a 5, but
yeah, I mean it's a 5 for sure. Like, I mean, I couldn't put this at now. I guess if I'm being real, because you gave a
my answer and a real answer, yeah.
It's a 5 for me for sure, because I love it and I will always love it. But as a movie, and I'm trying to be fair, maybe I would put it at a 4.
Okay.
I mean, that hurts me to say, but the reality is I don't have many problems with this movie. Like, the only problems that I have are that, again, maybe there's some questions that aren't answered, but now that I know that, like, I know the story is more or less that, the reality is I don't think that the people making the movie knew what the answers were to those questions. So I don't know, but I'm going to say 4 is the real answer, but in my heart, it will always be a 5. And I love it. And I will continue to watch this movie multiple times a year.
That is real and true. And I love it. And I'm going to be honest, I actually agreed. I was going to give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I do see why this would be like a 5, or like a comfort movie or a favorite one for you. Definitely makes sense. It's a great movie. I'd love to own it. I don't have a copy of it, so I'm really glad you brought it back into my world a little bit, because I definitely didn't appreciate it. I'm sure I watched it as like a teenager before I was like really like into movies in that way. I probably just saw the main guy and it was like, oh, he's hot.
Yeah, I thought you might. I thought you might be okay with Brandon Lee in this.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, a goth,
like sort of muscly goth Asian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
metal. I love the soundtrack to this movie, by the way. Like, it's so 90s. Yeah. It's so 90s, but like,
it's gothic as fuck too.
And that's another thing like about it. Like, it's just, again, it's just like gunfights, action, sexy women, a love story, and like just like Eric shredding on a guitar. Like,
that shit was sick. It was sick as fuck. Also, the one other thing I wanted to say about The Crow before we wrap this up, because again, I do get that 4 out of 5. I think it's great. It's definitely a must own, a must watch. Everyone's stupid. I was reading reviews online about it after, because I like to see like what people are saying, and so many people were like, it can't rain all the time, and then it rains the whole movie. It stops raining at the end. Were you not fucking watching?
Literally.
Were you not fucking watching? Are you stupid?
Are you stupid? Did you not listen to Hangman's joke, the record that says it can't rain all the time? Is it not? I don't even know which arm I have it. Did you not read Sam's goddamn arm that says it can't rain all the time with a crow on it? I forgot. I probably should have showed that earlier. Yes, I also have a tattoo of this for this movie.
As you should.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just this fucking like so many people were saying that online, and I get like letterboxes full of these one-liner zinger review lines, but I was like, are you guys stupid? That it stops raining.
Yes, it literally
That's the
stops
whole
raining.
point. Like, it
Yes.
literally stopped raining. What are we talking about?
I love the way the rain makes everything in this movie. Like everything is wet all the
Yeah.
time, and it's like shiny in this like oddly beautiful way. Like I
Mhm.
really enjoy the aesthetic of this film in
Yeah.
so many ways.
And they use it in a good way, because in the scene with Sarah and her mom, after her mom decides she's gonna be a mom now, it's light. It's light and it's beautiful and it's well lit. I mean, it's a completely different vibe from any of the other scenes we've seen. And that's like the color, you know how I feel about color and lighting and atmosphere and all these things being so important. And something that I just really enjoy analyzing in a film. And so it had little moments like that for me. And I agree. I do think the rain was like a really good element to have all the time, but people are stupid.
Oh yeah, they are.
It never stops raining. Watch the fucking last 5 minutes.
Yeah, literally the last
Yeah.
end of the movie. Can I say how influential this movie was on me, like in
Yeah.
so many ways? Like to like weird degrees. Like obviously, like I got into like alternative culture and whatnot. For sure, When is the Crow for Halloween a couple times. Probably will again at some point in my life.
Fuck it, me too.
But it even affected how I eat food. When I get, I like a good hot dog. Every time I get a hot dog and there's and I get mustard, I'm using mustard. I pretty much in my head, if I'm making a hot dog at home, I always will say, got to put the mustard underneath, because that's what Ernie Hudson says. And then the way that I mostly and for a fact, I only eat this because I eat this item this way. I eat my eggs the way Sarah does. Because I for sure as a kid didn't know what an over easy fucking egg was, but I remember distinctly after watching this movie, like when I would go to breakfast, I was like, oh, I want over easy, because that's what I heard in the movie. And guess what? How I eat my fucking eggs 20 something years later.
That's so cute, actually. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's actually adorable.
Yeah, 100%. I remember distinctly being like, oh, that's how Sarah gets them, so I'm gonna get them like that. And to this day, it is my preferred egg preparation.
See, that's so cute. I think there's something so special about like watching movies like this that have so much, because I was watching my first Mister and I was like, again, and I was like, damn, this is really vulnerable for me. Like, this is like, I modeled a lot of my behavior and the things that I liked, and like the clothing I bought and the posters I bought. Like, I was modeling I still want to buy a fucking mannequin and decorate like how she did in her fucking bedroom. Dude, I want to do it so bad.
That's very you. That's very you coded.
Oh, 100%. I was like, oh my God, everything about this person. Like, I fell in love. And it's just so nice to see when you can appreciate it, no matter what level you appreciate film. Like, there's going to be people who listen to our podcast who just like to watch a movie sometimes. And there's going to be people who obviously feel the same way that we do about it. And it's so cute to see like these little love letters on your soul, essentially, from these things that mean so much to you. And maybe you don't even recognize it at the time, or you don't know how like significant it's going to be. And like now we're in this like, late 20s, early mid 30s, in that range. And it's like these things still have a hold on us from when we watched them so young and as kids, and how like that version of you is still living within you. And then it's just, I don't know, it's just this beautiful thing to experience with someone. So I was really glad to do this episode in general. Though I love all of them with you. I just feel like it's a really good, like, the way that we process through movie and film is so beautiful and so artsy. And I love having that like view into you, but especially this level of movie where it is something that we didn't pick just because they're both great movies, but we didn't pick because like critics love them, or like this movie revolutionized this type of filmography. No. Like this is something that means a lot to us. Little Sam and Baby Blue. Like that is like a core thing that we have. And it's really special to experience.
It is. It's very sweet. And it is, and granted, maybe not everyone, but there are, for people like us who do love the arts. I mean, there are certain music or film or even TV shows that do, like you said, put a little stamp on your soul for the rest of your life that you will remember. And I know for a fact mine did for me, and I can see that yours did for you.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of fun to just discuss it. I mean, I watch it all the time, so it's not like
sure.
But no, it was fun.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Well, I think with that, it sounds like we're coming to an end here. Blue, you got anything you want to plug or anything like that? You want to plug your new Instagram?
I'm not emotionally ready.
Okay. Well,
Guys, my Instagram's down. I'm working on it. If you search Blue Cromwell, you will find another account, and it is mine, but it's still mourning.
okay.
So that's all I got.
You'll find Blue if you want. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you next week. Like, rate, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And it can't rain all the time.
Unless.
Bye.
Bye.